Hello everybody, welcome to this edition of R&B Reviews. I'm your host Rob, and once again I'm joined by Darren.
Hello, and greetings Wandavisionaries.
Yep, and we have finally come to the end. We are going to be discussing episode 9 of Wandavision, which is the last episode. So for those of you that have not watched the show, just so you know, we do give spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, then you may want to take a look at it before you come here. If you don't care, fine, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're going to do something interesting. Now, for those of you that have watched our series of videos these last 9 weeks, we always thrown in some theories about what be going on, who could be who, what could be what, and everything. So before we start getting into the episode, and before we might get a reappearance of the Darren Strange and Rob Thon,
Yes.
we thought we would like to share. This is what we did. We wrote down what we thought was going to happen before we watched the episode, and of course we watched it separately, and now we're coming here to record the video.
Yep.
And so we wrote down what we thought was going to be, and then we would find out who, if anybody got close to what it is. First of all, I just want to say I was glad this was not a 2-hour finale like you thought it would be. I'm glad it was 49 minutes.
Really? I was counting on a 2-hour finale.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it in the video, but I think if they were going to go a different route and expand the universe even more, I would say yes. But I think, with what it was, I'm glad it was 49 minutes. And I didn't watch any theories or watch any videos. I did see the episode is called series finale, not season finale. So sadly, there's probably not going to be a second season of any of this stuff, which is... I'm kind of sad because I was telling Darren I really like the early episodes where they paid tribute to classic sitcoms. Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen and Catherine Hahn did a great job with the comedic timing and everything. I really love those episodes. I know you liked the stuff that's more connected with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I loved what they did, and I wish there were more episodes where they did that, without any interruptions from Sword or anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely loved all that classic sitcoms. I mean, I really, I'm with you on that. I really want to see more of that, because I mean that was just something new, something different. I mean, this was completely like out of the ballpark original, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, what they have done with WandaVision, what they can do with the rest of the MCU, So I'm just hoping that this is over, but there's gonna be like little fragments here and there that might come together for something entirely new on the same concept. So
yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and discuss what we thought was going to happen in this episode.
Okay.
Now, I'll go ahead and go first.
All right.
Now, I know throughout the show you kept saying, Hayward might be Mephisto or Nightmare or whatever. So the last episode kind of made me feel like, no, I'm guessing either Hayward is Immortus. Footage that he showed Sword, where it looked like Scarlet Witch or Wanda, breaks in and stole Vision, but actually they showed in the last episode she didn't do any of that. It was fixed footage. So I think that it's
totally set it all up.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Immortus, but based on what you told me, I could imagine him using his powers to corrupt the footage to make it look a certain way if it was Immortus. If it's not Immortus, Hayward's just a bad guy, human being, just working for Sword. That was my theory with it. Although I will say, if he is the Grim Reaper, and they decide to bring him back, and let's say Doctor Strange, I think they're going to do it in a way where, how do I put this? That people that have seen WandaVision won't be lost, but the people that didn't watch WandaVision will not be lost.
Right.
So, but I mean, if he's the Grim Reaper,
right?
Yeah. But my prediction was he's either Immortus or he's just a bad guy, human being. What about you? What were your theories?
Oh, okay. Well, I got a lot that goes on, so I'll make this as entertaining as possible. Okay. So I thought WandaVision is going to open up with this fight scene against Agatha and Wanda, and we know Vision is on his way back to Wanda, and together they will rescue Tommy and Billy from Agatha's dark magical grasp. However, I think Agatha is either going to summon Chthon, Mephisto, or Nightmare, or some other dark force somewhere in the episode. Or it could play out that Agatha thinks Wanda is so dangerous, and Agatha tells Wanda the legend of the Nexus being the Scarlet Witch, and how Wanda is a vessel for Chthon, and how Tommy and Billy are shards of Mephisto's soul, and they need to be returned to his hell realm of limbo. Okay, so I also thought in order for that to happen, it would regain balance to the world and the universe. Or it could be that Pietro interrupts the fight scene and shows his true colors as either Mephisto, Chthon, or Nightmare. He will hand over Monica to Agatha, and Agatha will spellbind Monica. But at this point in time, Monica is so strong that she breaks free of Agatha's dark magic. And Wanda and Monica and Tommy and Billy all face Agatha and Pietro, aka Pietro. At which point, Vision enters and all the townspeople turn against Wanda and her family because they are under Agatha's control. Then the scene cuts to Darcy saying there is trouble in the Hex, at which point Hayward gives the order to send in the White Vision to destroy Wanda or Agatha or everyone, because he really is evil himself and could be either the Grim Reaper, Nightmare, or Mephisto. Or he could even be, like you said, Rob, a Mortis, aka the future king, the Conqueror himself. Or he could just be a deranged man wanting to resurrect Ultron again too. Meanwhile, the battle rages on within the Hex. Wanda's awesome power raises concern throughout the universe, alerting Doctor Strange to save Wanda and her family. Monica is worried at this point and sends a signal to whom we believe to be the mysterious aerospace engineer at this point, Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic himself. Hopefully Reed can help. However, the Hex wall is so strong, Reed cannot get in to save anyone. Then the White Vision passes through the Hex and arrives to the battle scene. He joins the battle that is breaking out within the Hex in order to save Westview and everyone in it. At which point Dottie transforms into Clea, the Dark Sorceress, and Doctor Strange's love interest. And she joins the fight to save Wanda and her family and the entire town of Westview from Agatha Harkness and her evil dark forces. Doctor Strange then tells Wanda her power is too great, that it is altering reality throughout the cosmos. Doctor Strange tells Wanda to surrender and he will help her gain control, but first she has to let go of Vision, Tommy, and Billy to restore Westview in order to save the entire universe. Wanda listens to Doctor Strange and turns Westview back, and everything's just supposed to be how it is. And then Doctor Strange takes down Agatha and the White Vision, and which point Wanda rewinds reality and turns everything back to normal. Doctor Strange then creates a portal back to one of his sanctums, and Doctor Strange, Clea, and now a very distraught Wanda leave the town of Westview behind. Doctor Strange then helps Wanda with her grief, frustration, and power. The scene then cuts to a knocked out Agatha that was weakened by Wanda and Doctor Strange's awesome power. Agatha at this point is somewhat drained of her own power, but she is no longer possessed by dark forces. And just to make a story short, Reed Richards rescues her, and it cuts out to Wanda will be back in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay. I'm Darren. It sounds like this episode would have been better than what we got.
Yeah. But what we did get was pretty good in itself, and a little bit of what I predicted kind of happened a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a battle between Agatha and Wanda. And,
Right. So yeah, I mean, there were two battle scenes between Wanda and Agatha. Episode 9 opened up, with Agatha with her rain on the boys, and Wanda throws a car at her, and it's just an all-out fight scene. And the Visions do come head to head there. I absolutely love what they did with the Vision, when the real Vision, Wanda's Vision throws the White Vision against the car and it explodes. We also see kind of like this element of T-1000 from Terminator, him coming back, through the fire and all that. And I just love that. I mean, there were a lot of movie elements within this episode that I picked up on. Especially when Wanda throws Agatha into that house with the car, and we see her boots only remaining. A tribute to the Wizard of Oz. I mean, just the humor in just like these first like 10 minutes of this opening episode, and just the cinematic just flair of other movies is just impeccable. What they did.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we dive deep into the episode, shall we bring back our characters of Rob Thon and Darren Strange?
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay. All right. Wingardium Levioso.
Darren, that's the wrong movie.
Oh gosh, you are right, Rob. That's Harry Potter.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Pothead.
Oops.
Okay.
Yep. I'm kind of like Pietro at that point.
All right. Well, now we're back to Rob Thon and Darren Strange. And greetings. Now, getting back to what you had said about the battle, yes, this episode is full of nice action sequences. The Vision attacking White Vision, and of course the opening battle with Wanda and Agatha. And I also like the tribute to the Wizard of Oz. Not only the boots, but about 15 minutes in, if you look at the back of the movie theater in town, they're showing Oz the Great and Powerful, which was the Disney prequel.
Yeah. I didn't get that at first, and then I saw. Yeah, she basically. I mean, Wanda like altered the whole reality of the movie theater in itself with just the different titles, and that was a really cool effect.
Yes,
on Marvel's part there.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the few clues where I saw. Like oftentimes you're like, oh, I don't know if you noticed, but this and this. I'm like, wait, what? This was actually This was the only time there was a clue that I picked up on.
Yeah.
I think I also picked up on what you said plot-wise. Like Agatha says, surrender your power to someone who knows how to use it. And I was thinking about, whether Agatha was good or evil, because, at first I thought maybe, Agatha could be the villain, but at the same time, I also thought, maybe she's good, but she's trying to do what she thinks is right and stop Wanda and take away her power, because oftentimes I see complicated stuff where there's no straight bad guys or straight good guys.
Right.
But I also felt that Mephisto, Nightmare, Grim Reaper was not going to be introduced. See, this is what, I read a headline that somebody said that people might be disappointed in this episode, and after you told me, oh, Mephisto and the boys, and in the comic books, Nightmare, I'm like, oh, great. And then I watched this episode, I'm like, none of that actually happened. And,
no.
And
no.
Yeah, but let's.
Hey, a fanboy can dream. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like for example, you said Dottie. Dottie is not Cleo or Clea. She's actually a woman named Sarah that lives in town.
Yep.
And Quicksilver is actually Ralph.
Yeah. It's a Ralph. And I kind of predicted that. I even made like one of the arts, like he could be Mephisto or Ralph.
Yeah.
Boy, at this point, this gets like really kind of risque for Marvel at this point with Monica and Ralph, which is AKA Pietro, AKA Quicksilver. But isn't it weird that he still has his powers at this point?
Yeah, well, I thought it was weird because, Okay, now, for example, I thought now in the Ep song where the Agatha is behind it all, she's doing her fingers.
Right.
I thought she created Pietro. I did, and then I guess I saw that scene wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering. So, how is it she didn't recognize that wasn't her brother? I'm starting to think, because you know how he's wearing that necklacey thing.
Right.
But,
the crystal loom possession is what she said. We finally know what that is.
Yeah. So I'm wondering whether when he shows up to Wanda's house, she sees Aaron Taylor Johnson, but we don't. I'm wondering if that's what happened with that there.
I gotta just mention, Ralph, Monica is just really taken back by his name.
Yeah.
Boner. That was just funny as all hell. Like I said, it's like really risque. Like she's like straddling him, on the floor, and she's like, ooh, like feisty and everything. In previous episodes, Agatha mentions like, oh, Ralph likes it better in the dark. He looks better in the dark, and it's just like oh, I'm just a tiger that just can't be tamed for Ralph. So we're really seeing that Agatha is kind of risque herself, a little vixen, a cougar, if you will, because Ralph is like,
what, his 20s, 30s?
yeah. Basically, from Agatha's age, thought 1,000 years, she was around at the fall of Atlantis. Yeah, she's definitely cougaring it big time. so yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just an awesome scene, and Evan Peters is really great. And if this multiverse does like come to pass, where we got like the original like X-Men or the younger X-Men anyhow, I definitely think he would fit well in that universe. So yeah, but yeah, it was really a surprising scene at best here.
And also we got introduced to, well, in this episode, Agatha actually brought out the dark hold. And you have the Darren hold right there.
I have the Darren hold, which I will use in a second here.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I also like that we got to go back to a very scary scene, 1693, with the witches, coming back to life. Yeah. Well, anyway, we got a nice scary scene where they ended up back in 1693, and those dead witches come back to life and says that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch, and they start trying to attack her.
Witch.
Yeah, I thought that was a very well done scene.
That Salem scene was just like awesome. She's like, "Oh, you're like the harbinger of chaos and all that," and we really got to see a great just like a dark side of Wanda and Agatha at this point.
Yeah,
and I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was somewhat disappointed with Agatha because you're like,
really?
Only because you're like, in the comic she's a good person, she's a good guy. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is she being so evil? It's like that was the only thing. Because I mean, like I said, I said that maybe she is good and she's trying to control Wanda so she doesn't destroy the world. Because I know she reads from the Darren Holden says that the Scarlet Witch is trying to destroy the world and she has the power to destroy the world. But at the same time, Catherine Hahn definitely came across as very snarky and evil, and I'm like, this isn't what you described to me from the comic book.
I mean, it definitely wasn't what I envisioned. No pun intended. But what they did with what Catherine Hahn did with Agatha Harkness was just incredible. I mean, we really know like who Agatha is at this point, where in earlier episodes we had like no clue. She was just that nosy neighbor, and just causing trouble behind the scenes apparently. And I mean, this is full-fledged at this point. I'm gonna just back up quite a bit here.
Okay, sure.
I'm Darren Strange, so I can do that.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I can alter reality, although I want to protect it at all costs.
Yes.
Okay, so
you're reading from the Darren.
Yes,
Hold.
I'm reading from the Darren Hold right there. So before, like after the boys, get rescued and all this, like Agatha takes Wanda on like this crazy, like basically witch hunt. They're trying to find each other in town, and one thing that Agatha does do that I did predict it, she does like tell Wanda like the legend of the Scarlet Witch, and I mean these are her exact words. She's like, Wanda, you have never been up against another witch before. Did you know that there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the Darkhold? That's the Book of the Damned, and I mean just how she snickers is just amazing. She opens the Darkhold, and the Scarlet Witch is not born, she says. She is forged, and she has no coven or need for incantation. And the one is like, I'm not a witch. I don't cast spells. No one taught me magic. And then she's like, your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme. So, I mean, we got really a lot of Doctor Strange reference right there. Sorcerer Supreme. He is one. It is your destiny to destroy the world, she says. And I'm not who you say I am. And then Agatha says, oh, really? And then we got the awakening of the townspeople, you know, Emma Caulfield, Sarah, like you mentioned. And that's just, that's just really a lot of, we really got a lot of tribute to the comics and the Scarlet Witch story right here in this scene.
Fighting is going on, and of course, you know, Monica does, you know, use her powers a little bit more, and eventually, now I gotta say, the last battle to me looked between Wanda and Agatha, like for some reason I was disappointed only because of the CGI. It looked like the clouds and everything looked fake. Usually in a Marvel project, you see they got good CGI. This one to me just took me out a little bit.
Okay, well, it's funny that you said that because Paul Bettany teased a lot in interviews, like, oh, there's going to be this cameo, and it's going to be like an actor that I'm so excited to work with, and it turns out it's really himself.
Yeah.
Which is he's just such a goofball,
Yeah.
you know. But you said he's a master of comedy, and we definitely saw that, you know, in the classic episodes. But he said that WandaVision, the finale, is going to have more CGI in it than Endgame. And I don't know if you saw that, but I kind of did, just everything that was going on. But then again, he could have been kidding.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know really what to think about it. But I mean, I watched this episode quite a few times, and I was just in awe, like what they did with effects with that.
Yeah, I mean, I liked some of the special effects, like, you know, but I mean, that particular one just took me out a bit. And final scene, you know, I was kind of disappointed that, you know, the kids and Vision kind of ended up disappearing because, like I said, I thought, you know, like you're like, oh, they're going to be in the new Avengers, blah blah blah. Although I know we're going to get to the
we're going to get to it. Don't get that away yet.
but when they disappeared, I'm like, well, where's the Young Avengers? Darren's like, oh my gosh, they're Wiccan and Speed and stuff.
Yeah, Wiccan and Speed, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I think I gotta say it was a very good episode. I mean, yeah, I think if you're expecting like if you've been looking at conspiracy theories and clues and think, oh, we're gonna get all these appearances by Nightmare and Mephisto, yeah, you are gonna be disappointed. But if you just brush that aside and just watch it for what it was, I thought it was a very good way to end this series. Although two other problems I had with it. I didn't like that Kat Dennings disappeared after she crashed into Hayward and said that he was going to jail. I would have liked one final comical scene with her. I just didn't like that she disappeared, and then
that was comical though. She like saved the day.
Yeah, but I wanted to see her one more time because who knows when she's coming back, you know. And
she'll be back.
Yeah,
she'll be back in Thor.
Yeah.
For Love and Thunder. Yeah.
And I gotta say, when the townspeople now, I don't know if I missed this. The guy that played Vision's boss in the first two episodes, I didn't see him. Did he disappear?
Nope. He disappeared.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw that Donna Rupp came back, and the woman that played Dottie, and all the neighbors and coworkers, and he wasn't there, and I'm like, what the hell happened to him?
Yeah, and I mean, Deborah Jo Rupp actually had a kind of like a cameo like herself, you know, as herself, as the townsperson.
Yeah, everybody was there, and I'm like, where the hell is his boss? Because I didn't see him in there. I didn't know if I missed anything.
Yeah, it was just crazy because like some people just did not make it back that we've seen.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, Wanda had complete control over her reality, so I guess she made that happen. Just going back with Monica and the boys, you know, we saw like Speed and Wiccan, you know, the evolution of their power, and Monica too, and she says to the boys, you know, nice tricks, you know, because like Hayward's like shooting, you know, and she's absorbing all these bullets and everything, and it's just really cool, guys. You just have to see this episode. But it's important to note that, you know, Marvel really wanted this episode to play out as a movie, because we did get like, I did feel like I was watching a movie like after it ended. We also had that awesome battle between Agatha and Wanda, and we know at this point, you know, Agatha's main power is to take power from the undeserving, so to speak. She says, and she's like, you have no idea what you unleashed. And when she's like fighting Wanda in that hex, she's basically taking all that power and sucking Wanda dry of just like everything. But Wanda, you know, she casts runes. And in the comics, Agatha is a mentor to Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch herself. And I'm glad that they included that scene in there because she's like, you taught me a lesson, and she turned it totally against her. And it was just so refreshing to see that tribute back to the comic books. Even though Agatha is a little bit darker than what we expected, I really do think she still has some good in it.
Yeah.
Because Wanda basically says, I've given you your role that you chose, the nosy neighbor. And she's like, okie dokie, artichoke.
Yeah.
And we got
She's
classic.
so good at that.
We got classic Catherine Hahn right back there. But yeah, and also it's so important to know the next scene that follows, just Wanda reversing everything back from the hex, just them walking home like hand in hand, and them putting the boys to the bed. I mean, I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about.
And then she's like, "Thank you for letting me be your mom and stuff."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "What is that supposed to mean?" And then
but just like we're so proud of you boys, and then they're holding hands, and like the hex just comes and it just takes it all away, and she turns to Vision, or Vision turns to her and says, what am I? And she's like, you are my sadness, you are my love, you are a combination of wire and blood. And it's just like, at one point, which this is very important before I get to the end credits scene, Wanda says to the boys, nobody can ever tear us apart. Family is forever. I get so choked up. There was not one point where I watched this episode where I just did not stream tears.
Oh.
I mean, it was just that emotional for me.
Sorry, I wasn't like that.
I cried at Titanic, okay? So, it takes a real man to admit that he's wrong, admit his mistakes, and to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think the boys were going to disappear. I thought they were going to stay and, like you said, be in upcoming movies and stuff. But, we'll get to that in one of the end credit scenes. Now, the first mid-credit scene is when Monica gets into the theater and one of the agents is, a Skrull?
Yeah.
Skrull. And it sets up, I think it's setting up Captain Marvel too.
Yeah, and remember, I kind of suspected, like there was Skrulls about.
Yeah.
It not only sets up Captain Marvel 2, but it also sets up Secret Invasion, which is a Disney Plus show coming as well. So we now know that Monica Rambeau is going to be in that as Photon.
Yeah.
And the Skrull does say he's waiting to hear from you, and she's like, oh yes, he is, and the Skrull points up there, so we know that she's definitely going into space at that point. Okay, so probably the most important credit scene
at the end
is the whole POV, the camera zooming in into this big mountain. This atmosphere there, and there's this little house, and we see Wanda kind of like finishing her tea, and then she goes to get more tea, and then it pans into her bedroom, and we see the Scarlet Witch actually projected in astral form, and she's reading the Darkhold, and she's learning about like everything that she is, or of her legend,
or what's in the Darkhold itself,
or what's in the Darkhold
movies.
itself. Ooh, yes. And then we hear Tommy and Billy like, "Mom, help us!" And at that point, we kind of know where they're at. The comics do kind of foreshadow that for us. They are,
so Mephisto could be around,
right,
and they could be with him,
right,
we just didn't see it.
Right, he could be in limbo. But remember that Tommy and Billy are not absorbed into Mephisto because they absolutely can't. And there was that whole Master Pandemonium thing that they totally did away with, which thank goodness, because that would have confused the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they are in limbo, the hell dimension within the dark dimension and all that crazy stuff, all that madness.
Yeah, because I was kind of confused by that because
Yeah.
I thought, they were, destroyed when the hex was gone and because
Right.
Vision was gone, and then I'm like, wait, they're still around?
Right, right, but yeah, that really would open up like a great scene for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And like I said, Mephisto cannot absorb Tommy and Billy fully because Wanda's magic has transfigured them so much where he won't be able to. He just won't. And the comics depict that, and I don't think Marvel will go too far into that, but it is an element that could separate and really also make sense of the story that Marvel is telling at this point. I also do think that when we got the view of the mountain, that was Doctor Strange flying in. That could have been his POV in like astral form, because in Doctor Strange, there's this scene like where he's reading the books and everything, but he's also sleeping. So Wanda's getting tea. She's also reading the Darkhold. So Wanda's mastering a lot at this point. And remember, her power exceeds that of a Sorcerer Supreme. So she's gonna be a handful for Doctor Strange, or a great ally when Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness hits theaters, which I'm so excited to see right now, because we do have this possibility of all these dark forces like Mephisto, Nightmare, and Chthon all entering, and it's just so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that in the comics, Mount Wundagore is based in Eastern Europe, which the birthplace of the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, Pietro and Wanda. The birthplace is Transia, and within that Mount Wundagore, Chthon, the author of the Darkhold, the Elder God demon, he wrote it within the chamber, which is called the Darkhold, that's where the book comes from. But it's also crazy that we saw Wanda's parents in WandaVision, and their names are Idra and Oleg, but the evolution of their parents in the comics have went from Magda to Natalia to like Wanda's father or grandfather being the Scarlet Warlock. So I mean, there's just like so much that they can't put in the movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Scarlet Witch at this point could have a whole movie to herself, aside from WandaVision. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all that just carries out in the future.
Yeah.
And I am just so psyched to see that.
Yeah. I gotta say, I am glad they didn't introduce Mephisto or Nightmare, because I think, like I've been saying, I think it would have been too complicated. And plus, like I said, there's people that aren't have Disney Plus. Like, we know some people that don't have it, and if they go into the movie and they introduce them, they're like, "Who's this person?" But I think they were smart not to do that here. Like, I think there were hints, like I said, Hayward could come back as the Grim Reaper in a movie, but they have to do it in a way where people that have watched WandaVision know what's going on, but people that aren't lost. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a possibility they'll come into the movies, but I think the show is not the place to do it.
Right. So. And I mean Elizabeth Olsen herself, deserves an Emmy really for all that acting, all that emotion that we have witnessed in WandaVision. And she's been on like several interviews, like with Jimmy Fallon. They even did a take on WandaVision with Jimmy Fallon, Fallon Vision, which was hilarious, and it was just crazy, like how many people are inspired by WandaVision and how they didn't even think that this original idea would take off as well as it did. One other character one other very important character to mention is the Vision himself. We no longer have Wanda's vision that we know and love. We have that white vision, which there was that scene with like the ship of Theseus, and in Wandavision, and they're like figuring out like, oh, you know, like you're me and I'm you, and you know, we're not really that different at all. Which is actually a beautiful scene between two sympathies, actually. I mean, and you know, we know that he is like the West Coast Avenger from the comics, and I don't know if like Ultron will play a role in future movies now, how they set it up. But it's very exciting to see that as well. So, but we do know that in one of the interviews, many interviews that Elizabeth Olsen did, she was in London filming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So I am just so psyched to see where we go next through Disney Plus, and just the MCU in theaters as a whole. I mean, as soon as when all this COVID crap lifts, I mean, we're back in.
Yeah.
You know, but we do know that our next journey will be with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I can't wait.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed WandaVision. I'm really gonna miss WandaVision so much.
Yeah,
I mean, just like you said, the classics.
Yeah, I love those early episodes.
Yeah, but just the acting. I just loved how just like dark and dramatic and just like so lighthearted everything was. I mean, they just put everything, like their heart and soul, like no pun intended, into the show. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do on Fridays.
Yeah. Well, here's hearing what you said with interviews with Elizabeth Olsen. I actually saw an interview she did or read in a magazine where I guess the first episode was really filmed in front of a live audience, and she's like, I really enjoyed it because not too many shows do that anymore. Sitcoms don't do that anymore.
Oh yeah, and that's great that you mentioned that, because Disney Plus, there was like rumor like saying that they were gonna have the making of WandaVision, which I really hope that comes to pass. I would also not mind seeing all these episodes like in just like one big movie format, so we can just keep watching it, so we could skip all those end credits and just be like right into the story and finish it like a movie. That would be so awesome of Disney at, you know, with their platform. But yeah, I mean, the possibilities are just so open now. I mean, the universe has just expanded within their first show, which, you know.
And plus, like one good thing is Wanda gets to, you know, expand a little bit more on you, because you don't, unfortunately, all the big Avengers like Iron Man and Thor and Captain America get all the, you know, backstory and character development, and luckily she got a chance to, you know, expand a little bit more here with her own show. Yeah, and I mean, one comic book that I wouldn't mind being seen like played out is especially the Young Avengers, because I think, and the thing about the Young Avengers, you know, Tommy and Billy, you know, they're at an age like where these actors as boys could actually play them as like teenagers, if that does hit. I mean, I kind of did see that element, because both boys are just, the actors are awesome. In this, I mean, just everybody was just awesome. But it's just all up to Marvel. Their casting, I mean, they really haven't did any wrong since they got the rights back from Fox. I mean, everything's just been like really kind of just spot on. And that's all we fanboys can ask for. You know, just stay true to the story. And I see that coming. They finally heard us. One more thing I will say before, you know, we get out of this get up. Oh yeah. I mean, WandaVision, it was, you know, I liked it, and like I said, I didn't know what to expect. You know, honestly, You know, I mean, the trailers made it
nobody
look,
did.
yeah, the
Nobody
trailers made
did.
it look like it was just going to be a tribute to shows, which was fine, but it ended up being more to that, and everything was fine, and people had theories about, you know, who was what, you know, what are their clues, and some of the stuff just weren't clues.
Right.
Like the Fly you thought was Mephisto, or you thought
Right.
Quicksilver was Mephisto.
Right, the
or,
cicada. And,
yeah, and stuff, and that.
and those commercials, they really didn't do much.
Where's the Samuel Jackson Quicksilver commercial
Yeah,
that you told me about?
okay, there was a Samuel Jackson Quicksilver card commercial leaked, and
Maybe it wasn't, like, maybe they did that on purpose.
maybe
to
they
make
did
people
on
talk about
purpose.
it. Yeah.
Because I mean, we also did see like scenes, you know, like Agatha riding her bicycle, like back in the 70s episode. We didn't see that footage within WandaVision itself. It was just for commercials. So Marvel has just like really fooled us, and it just has been just a dramatic, fun, exciting ride. To say the least. And I mean, that's how I can just sum up WandaVision. I mean, there's no better way to describe it than that. I mean, so if you haven't seen WandaVision, you're missing out on a lot.
Yeah, I do want to have one more thing, though, since
Okay.
you brought that up.
Yeah.
Early on, my mom saw on a message page, it's been a long time since we talked about my mom in these message posts, but there were some people that said they're not going to watch WandaVision until all the episodes were released so they can binge watch them.
Right.
Now,
Okay. Which is fair.
yeah, now, do you think that is the future? Because I know you said it's nice to see these shows once a week, but there's some people that want to wait and watch everything at once rather than doing it the old-fashioned way of watching it every week.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use one of my favorite shows on Amazon Prime. It's called The Boys. Okay, and I like after I watched all those episodes, you know, I was basically bored, and I got rid of Amazon Prime for a while, and I still have it. I still got it's still. I still don't have it because like season 3 hasn't happened yet for The Boys, or season 2. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean it's been that long ago. But by seeing these episodes every single week, I think it stays fresher in our minds rather than just seeing everything like all at once.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
You know, it is exhausting. I mean, it kind of frees you up like a little bit to think about, you know, like what's going to happen next and everything. And I think Marvel did it like they added excitement to that because I mean there was just like something to look forward to. I'm gonna use TGIF, you know, back in the day with like Sabrina and Boy Meets World and everything. I mean, I looked forward to those shows, you know, every single week. As well as I do like other shows like The Neighborhood is really an awesome show too. But these premiere every single week. If I'm watching everything all together, I'm gonna forget a lot.
Yeah.
We as humans need time to process, and
Yeah.
I think that's what you know. That was the beauty of Marvel's idea, you know, not just because the sitcoms aspect of it, but just you know, just taking a break and just thinking about things.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I'm the same way. Like I once in a while, if I'm watching a show and I'm really on DVD or something and I really enjoy it, I might watch 3 episodes. One time I was at the library and they had this old British show called Blake 7, like the first episode. I was really excited. I watched them all in a row. By the end, I was like, oh man, I'm so tired of this. You know, I don't understand the binge watching. So, I mean, granted, it's 9 episodes and they're almost all half an hour except for these last 2. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I just, you know, I don't get it.
Life moves fast enough and is complicated enough. I mean, you need time to rest and to soak in everything, you know? I mean, this format helps us keep, you know, like time flowing, you know, at a gradual pace. Everybody's in just a hurry and with their phones and technology and all this, and this was just a breath of relief. WandaVision. I think Marvel sees it, and Disney again are both go hand in hand, masterminds, and I'm just looking forward to really what's ahead.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we better snap back out of.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We got to put the Darren hole to rest.
Wait, I thought it was called the asshole.
No, it's called the Darren hole.
Okay, I thought it was the asshole.
Gosh, and I wasn't even going to cast a spell because we remember what happened last time.
Yeah.
So with Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, what was I thinking?
All right, well, guys, this is it. So that's the end of our WandaVision reviews. If you like these videos, please put a comment in the comment box below, or any feedback about the show itself, WandaVision, or anything thoughts about our videos. And if you're interested, check out some other reviews on this channel, like movie reviews, classics, contemporaries. And hopefully as more movies get released in the theaters, and as, more people are allowed to go in, and as COVID continues to go down, hopefully I'll be back reviewing even more movies in the theaters.
Yes.
So, and also please hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you can get notified every time a video is up.
Yep.
And Darren, thank you very much for all your comic book knowledge and getting me excited that these characters were going to show up, and they didn't!
No, they didn't, but we had some aspect of them, like some clues, some hints, I mean, like
I'm not listening to you ever again.
What? What?
Come on.
Okay, all right. Now you're just going overboard, with the jokes here. Yeah, but I also would like to thank Chris Valencia again for his comment.
Orange Reel too.
Orange Reel for their comments. And leave comments, guys, because we'll address them. And or Rob will, when I'm not here, or when we have other guest stars and everything, we could do that as well. But yeah, this has just been a great ride. It's just been so much fun, Rob. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed putting the artwork together, the cover art and all that.
A lot of the collages and the cover art for these videos he's done.
It was a lot of work, but it was so well worth it, for our wonderful viewers.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you later.